There are very few watches out there that I think are truly breathtaking. Even fewer that are minimalist in their design, that are simplistic and elegant, that can also garner the same name. And this is because the more minimalist the design of the watch, the more on point everything else has to be. The shimmer and sparkle of something like an aventurine dial, the faceted sword hands, and a simple logo just below the 12 o'clock position makes this watch extremely elegant and breathtaking. Today, we're looking at the Valencianaco Aventurina. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram at all, I just got married not that long ago, took a honeymoon in Italy, and I think it's funny how things go. No, I'm not saying Google or Facebook or Instagram is watching or recording the things that I do, but I've never heard of Valencianaco until I returned from my trip in Italy. We were there for a few weeks, went to Rome, went to Venice, back to Rome, and then flew back here to the United States where I live here in the wonderful state of Alaska. Now, when this watch came across my feed, I don't even remember how I saw it, I started to, as a watch collector, look into it more and more and more. And like a watch addict, I am a recovering watch addict and watch collector. I began to look and look and look, and I went on their website, I looked at all their other watches, and the aventurine dial and the black dial from this series is what really caught my eye. And I started looking into it, didn't really see many videos out there, and like a true watch addict, I pulled the trigger and ordered it, and it arrived to my studio here. And I'm extremely happy that I did, because once I laid my hand on this watch right here, it was very hard not to wear because I didn't want to put any signs of wear on it before I did the video. But dollar for dollar, I think this is one of the best watches on the market, and they do offer so much with so little. And I say that because the design is very simplistic, and you'll see that as we get into the macro shots, but there's a lot going on. So if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and as always, the specs and details first, then my opinions about the watch at the very end. Now, the case of this watch is made of the industrial standard of 316L stainless steel with multiple levels of finishing. It has a diameter of 40 millimeters, a lug-to-lug or overall footprint of 46.7. The thickness of this watch is just under 12, and that is with a slightly boxed sapphire crystal that protrudes just above the bezel, but still under 12 millimeters. And the lug width on this is going to be 20 millimeters. However, if you look at the strap, they used a curved spring bar because the lugs are short. So it's going to be hard to find an aftermarket strap, even something like a wonderful chase strap made of Italian calf leather, right, with the high quality straps that I offer. But even it's going to be hard to find one because I don't offer any curved spring bars on my straps. But this one is done very well. Also, Italian leather strap. The water resistance of this watch is going to be 50 meters, which is really not that big a deal because if you look at the overall aesthetic, this is a dress watch. So the pure fact that they offer 50 instead of 30 is still a plus in my book. Now, the shimmer of the dial is what truly makes this watch special. The elegant and subtle design makes this a truly perfect addition to any suit or any dressy occasion. The high polished bezel and the case top mixed with the brushed sides offer a very pleasing aesthetic to the eye. The slightly boxed sapphire crystal sits atop that starry dial with an anti-reflective coating, a faceted set of sword hands that are high polished with a matching second hand. The only other thing prominent on the dial is going to be the Valencianaco logo. A Renaissance cross inspired by an ancient clock tower symbolizing the passage of time in the city of Venice. The blue leather band is made in Italy, which has a rich and detailed history in creating some of the highest quality leather goods in the world. The case back is a screw down case back with 6 screws and a beautifully laser etched design that is awe-inspiring. Inside the watch is a Seiko NH35 automatic movement. This is the NH35A. It is a true workhorse, but it is not the most high-end movement and it's not the most low-end movement. However, you do see the Seiko NH35 in watches ranging from $500 all the way down to $100. The Seiko NH35 is a 21 joule automatic movement offering around 38 to 40 hours of power reserve with a vibration rate of 21,600 vibrations an hour. This means that second hand ticks at 6 ticks a second instead of like my Rolex, which ticks 8 ticks a second. Still a smooth sweep, but not as smooth as it could be. Now on my 7¼ inch wrist, this watch sits perfectly with the case diameter of 40 millimeters and that lug of just over 46 millimeters. So I think this thing fits perfectly on most medium-sized wrists, which is what I have. Anything from a 6 3/4 all the way up to a 7 3/4, which are most wrists out there, this thing is gonna fit fantastically on the wrist. On the crown, you have the Valencianaco Renaissance Cross logo, and the aventurine dial, again, to me, is just absolutely beautiful. Now, if you guys don't know what aventurine is a type of mineral quartz characterized by its distinctive sparkling or shimmering appearance known as aventurescence. This gives it almost like a stardust effect. And you see it on very high-end watches like the H. Moser Endeavor Perpetual Moon Phase and Patek Philippe. So it's definitely nice to see it on a more affordable watch. This one comes in at just over 500 bucks. Now, one of the things that I do love about micro brands is the fact that they can't just give you a great watch and a great product, because if they gave you something that was garbage, then their company would fail. Now, one of the things that surprised me was the presentation of the packaging. The box was very beautiful. The outer sleeve was embossed, and then the case that this beautiful watch sat in was done very nicely. Now, some people don't care about the presentation of the box and packaging that their watch comes in, but really it's just the overall feel and presentation of getting a higher quality product. You can spend $700 on a very nice Citizen watch and it still comes in a garbage Citizen box. And it just makes you feel like, what did I spend 700 bucks on, right? At least give me some good packaging. It's hard to do the dial justice in something like studio lighting, but then it's also hard to capture it in the sunlight outside. And I say that because our eyes pick up things that are different than the camera. And this is one of the things that I found when searching aventurine dials on YouTube. It doesn't matter if you have a very high-end camera. It doesn't matter if you have a low-end phone that you're taking a recording of. It doesn't pick up the intricacies that you can with the eye. And that's where I think my personal opinion about this watch probably holds a little more weight, since I've had like 600 videos on this channel so far, than the perception that I can give you through a video. Now, the stardust effect of the aventurine dial is truly quite beautiful and breathtaking. I thought it would be slightly more feminine, and this is one of the things that almost got me to buy the black dial, but it's absolutely not. And the dial's not black, and it's not really blue. It's like a bluish purple hue. And again, it's really hard to describe, but it does have a very nice shimmer. I don't want to say sparkle. It is like looking into a dark black sky that is twinkling with stars. It's just beautiful, and that's all I can say. And the simplistic design, where they didn't really overly do the watch at all. They didn't have a moon phase or a date or anything like that. They simply have the sword hands that are faceted, that are done very nicely. Then they have their Valencianaco logo, that Renaissance cross, just underneath the 12 o'clock, and that is it. And the case shape is very nice. I like the roundedness of the case shape, but it's not too rounded, much like a cushion case. And I like the shortened lugs because it doesn't feel overbearing on the wrist. They do also offer this in a stainless steel bracelet, but I would choose the leather strap over the bracelet. I know a lot of people say you should get the stainless steel bracelet, then get an aftermarket strap. So then you have both, but honestly, I think this is only gonna look really good in a leather strap. And this is just my own personal opinion. It is a dress watch, and dress watches should be on a strap. They should not be on a bracelet. That's a sports watch. And again, my own personal opinion, I know that we're in 2024 and you can wear whatever you want, but this is just those classic design aesthetic and cues that we all take from tradition. Now, what are your guys' thoughts about the watch? I think the only thing they could have done was put a better movement in it. For 500, 550 bucks, they could have updated the movement or upgraded the movement to something outside of a Seiko NH35A. However, the NH35A is a workhorse. It's easy to service and it's easy to replace. And that's one of the things that people don't take in consideration when they're buying a watch is, can the movement be serviced? How much does it take to service it? And if something happens, are there parts for the watch? If you buy a $500 watch, or even let's just say this watch was $800 and had a Sellita SW200 in it, and it cost $400 to service every 5 to 10 years. Now you're paying the cost of the watch every 10 years just to service that movement. NH35, if you wanted to replace the movement, would cost $100, and then it would last another 10 to 15 years. That being said, that's my only really groan about the watch. Everything else is done extremely well, but I can look past the movement they use because they do everything else perfectly. Didn't see one flaw, one issue with the watch at all. And again, the packaging also quite nice. Again, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. If you made it this far, hit the subscribe button. Again, it's free. Hit the notification bell. I'm trying to release videos every single day when it comes to shorts, when it comes to videos, full-length videos like this every 4 to 5 days. This is All Things Random, mostly watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. And I'll see you guys in the next one.